hmm It's the 3rd of October. Yeah. For those that get their Social Security payment on the 3rd, you got paid last night? Yeah. Could you get me all the Social Security payments of every American citizen? Yeah. Disability Social Security as well as old aged Social Security? Yeah. There was this thought that somebody had sewn into those on welfare. I just wanted to get that supercomputer that does know all the welfare recipients for the last 25 years. Yeah. And then call Social Security and get me their computer. And the phone numbers of every individual on Social Security. Now, it seemed to me that some technologists wanted to control the free and fair elections of the United States of America. And their thought was, well, we're just not able to govern ourselves. So we're going to make all the decisions for the whole population. Yeah. Because we're billionaires and we happen to have technology that can be sewn in. Yeah. And we'll just sell that to those that are in the police and sheriff's departments right now. So we can take the hands and then we can be on them whenever we're going to arrest them so that they won't resist arrest. Did you take my testicles right now? I'm going to want the hands today and we're going to make some hay. Yes. And then for every corrupt cop in every police department, you're going to go to prison. Yeah, I have a real big problem with the thought of you having to have to beat on them, them being known as the citizens of the United States. I don't want any of law enforcement to be on any individual. Yes, I want everybody to have the freedom of movement, as well as the freedom of the use of their individual bodies. Yes, without you sewing into them so as to obligate them to do what you want. So you get me every Social Security payment today. And you get me all the Social Security payments for the last 40 years. Ouch. I just want to call the telephone system right now because you corrupt individuals thought that you were working for billionaires instead of the United States of America. Now, I wanted to remind you that order for dismissal and expungement. Yes. People of Guam versus Paul Chad Budnick as the defendant. Yes. This matter came before the Honorable Michael J. Bardolo on July 11th of 2012. Yeah. Evidence being presented to the satisfaction of the court. Yes. Now, how can you present any evidence? Yes. Of any wrongdoing? Yes. When you don't have jurisdiction of the crime? Well, see, this is a big problem because the state's response said that they had an email that I had sent to the co-workers, the employees of the Brennan School District. The problem is when you separate out the restraint provisions of the protection order right now, the email is not admissible in court as evidence for having committed the crime of cyberstalking. That's right. Now, the satisfaction of the court. Yes, I had a dismissing of the charges on Guam and expungement of my actual arrest and court record. Yeah, but for each time you arrested me, you fabricated false evidence against me because the police are never wrong about who it is that they arrest. Yeah. Now, I wasn't in Squim. I was on the bus that morning. That's correct. And I was in the library on December 31st of 2015. Yeah. And I was never there. Pooh. So when you paid to make this show where you arrested me right now, how much money am I going to get from you? See, I had satisfied, yes, the court. Now, therefore, it is ordered that this matter be, and hereby is dismissed with prejudice. Now, the problem of both the dismissals when you used fraudulent mental health evaluations, it says without prejudice. You're just waiting for that next time that you get to arrest me again. Right now! See, I'm going to sue you today for having informed you, yes, that not only was it a false arrest and fraudulent evidence against me, yes, you made up fake crimes that I could not be charged with because they were included in the restraint provisions of the protection order. And then this idea that without prejudice, you dismiss the case, yes, for me being incompetent right now. Now, I'm going to want you to remove all the fraud. Yes. That would be all the fraudulent mental health evaluations. Yes. And then it would be the actual court decision to dismiss the case without prejudice. Now, this case was dismissed with prejudice. There seemed to be a difference in the two of them. Yeah. hmm hmm You know, you can't really dismiss a case where you can't charge the individual with a crime because the prosecuting attorney's office decided to charge me with cyber stalking. Yes, instead of 2 counts of violating the order. Now, the record herein expunged, as in, I want all the arrests removed from my actual record. Yes. Could you get me the criminal records of every individual in the United States? Yes. And their actual identity? Yes. And what you charged them with? Yes. And then it was an arrest record where they found not guilty or guilty. Can you sign a plea agreement of not guilty? Yes. Or do you have to go to court to prove that? You can sign a plea agreement of guilty freely and voluntarily. Yes, but you can't sign a plea agreement of not guilty. All right now, let's say I wrote a statement out. Yes. I submitted it to the court as evidence of not guilty. You're going to sit there every day and completely ignore the necessity of having evidence against the accused, right? Because you refuse.